Your girl likes to shop the sales, okay? I don't have to work it into a plan. I don't have to modify anything with crazy numbers or anything like that. I can, oh, that's very good. Hello my friend, good morning and welcome back to my channel and to a day in my life vlog. Today is Monday, April 22nd, I think. That is accurate. Today is April 22nd, and today is a bit of a reset day for me. As you know, I have been just kind of going with the flow and not incredibly concerned with like a rigorous content schedule or anything of that nature. Really just kind of leaning into what I need things to be right now, which is much more relaxed and less internet facing, less social media, less internet facing, and just more being present and wearing more of my homemaker hat instead of my YouTuber hat. And I'm very, very happy right now doing that. But I do want to continue to show up here every once in a while. So today, you and I are doing just a housewife, day in the life of a child-free homemaker type vlog. I have been up and about. I've already had some coffee, made my breakfast, which was delicious. Sourdough bread, eggs, avocado, with all the spices, chives, oregano, dill pickle seasoning, some extra dill, super delicious, super hearty, and really, really satisfying. I have taken my pills, I have refilled my pills for the week, and I have started one of probably 2 or 3 loads of laundry today. So we've got a lot that's already been happening. So what are we gonna do together today? Well, I have aspirations. We will see how much the flow, how much the energy actually lets me show up for these aspirations. But my goal is we're going grocery shopping. We gotta get the groceries for the week. I wanna do some meal prepping, which may or may not include making either oatmeal protein bars, if I can muster the right ingredients, blueberry muffin cookies, or both. We shall see. We shall see. But first I have I have to go ahead and empty out the refrigerator, get rid of stuff that's kind of gone bad that like you kind of leave in the fridge until you can pitch it, you know, because you don't want it to just like stink up the place. We've all been there, right? So I'm gonna do a little bit of a refrigerator and freezer clean out / reorg, and then we are going to go to the grocery store and get the kitchen side of things going. So, oh, by the way, if you're new here, hi, I'm Brianna. Nice to meet you. Glad you're here. Come join me. impromptu self-care moment. I have 2 of these like ice roller things in the freezer that I always forget about or never intentionally use. And you know what? It feels so good. And as somebody who doesn't like the cold normally, this still feels so nice. What is it about cold rollers on my face? I'm emphasizing my under eyes right now because my under eyes have been looking fierce and not in the good way lately. So maybe a little extra time with the frozen thing will be good. That feels lovely. Taking a brief break to have a snack because it's not lunch, but it's a snack. And these were in the freezer and nobody had opened them yet. And you don't want things to be in the freezer for too long because at least in my experience, maybe it's a freezer problem, I don't know, things will get freezer burned and then they just don't taste as good. So I am having these Kodiak cakes. And one thing to know about me, there's 2 here. We introduced, contrary to what I've been saying for probably the last year or so, where I want to switch to more fat, healthy fats, use the butter, use the whatever. Given the health circumstances that my husband and I are both having, which are completely different, he is having some severe acid reflux related issues, and I personally have just discovered that I have gallstones. Not gallstones that inflict pain, but they are present. I got an ultrasound due to some liver test results. Like it's a whole like twisted cycle of like, all I did was go get new test results because my insurance deductible was met. And I was like, why the heck not? Let's get tested and see everything that's going on in here. And my liver enzymes were high. My liver enzymes are back to almost normal now. The fault was iron supplementation, but that's a story for a different time. But we did discover through an ultrasound that I had gallstones. And gallstones means I'm consuming too much fat. Between that and there is a slight layer of like fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver around my liver, which means I have to reduce, or I should reduce the amount of fat that I consume. So I'm being much more selective about my fat, which means that I can't believe it's not butter spray and I can't believe it's not butter light spread has made a resurgence into my house. And that is what it is. So I'm having the 2 waffles with just a couple spritzes of I can't believe it's not butter on it for flavor. And then we're going to go to the store. All right, my friends, I'm back from Target and in front of me I have my grocery haul and I thought I'd do it the good old-fashioned way where you look at my face and the items at the same time. I know, I never do grocery hauls this way. Keep in mind, as I'm sharing these things, the optimal goal here, as I mentioned earlier, is we're trying to decrease overall fat consumption in our house. And now, let me be very clear. The answer to a low-fat diet, first of all, this is not for weight loss purposes. We are doing this for health-related purposes. Gallstones, mild fatty liver, things of that nature, acid reflux for his problems. None of this has anything to do with creating a more dramatic calorie deficit in any way, shape, or form, okay? If you don't have a health problem that requires less fat intake, low fat intake, and notice I'm not saying no fat intake. We're not going for lowest ever. We're just going for a decrease overall. But if you do not have a health problem that warrants this, please, please, please make sure you are eating adequate amounts of healthy fat because healthy fat is super important. And let's be clear, I am still eating fat. My husband is still eating fat. We are just being much more selective about where it's coming from. And you will see some examples of that. I don't know if you guys just saw that light flicker like I did. You'll see some examples of that in my food choices. So let's get started. There's a big emphasis on fruit on this trip because one easy way to decrease fat but still be able to keep your fiber levels high, your carbs high without just eating like straight sugar is fruit. God's candy, right? So we have bananas. We've got a nice 3-pound bag of Honeycrisp apples. What other fruit do I have? I have 2 containers of strawberries. We got all the berries, my friends, all the berries. So 2 containers of strawberries. I got 3 containers of raspberries because at Target, their new Target Circle, this is not sponsored, although if you want to sponsor me, Target, I'm there literally 3 days a week. Their new Target Circle has automatically added discounts instead of you having to go and add them all manually, but there are extra bonus discounts that you do have to add. And one of the bonus discounts, at least on my account, was 30% off of raspberries and like 25% off of blueberries. So I got a whole heck of a lot of berries. heck of a lot of berries. Primarily because we eat these with yogurt, but I also want to be eating them kind of as a sweet treat. And I want to use them in the blueberry muffin cookies that I would like to make. So berries, berries, and more berries. That's all the fruit. I got us 2 of these. This is the Chunk Light tuna. My husband really likes this tuna. He finds it goes down easier than the Safe Catch. Safe Catch? Is that the one I have? The more expensive brand that I buy from Costco. Really high in protein, but it's higher in fat as well. And so for his digestive system, this one processes better. So this is what I buy for him. I got myself a giant container of dill pickles, lest the spirit move me to make some dill pickle salad or chicken salad or something like that. And if not, I just eat the pickles because I love pickles. On the reduced fat train, I got me some reduced fat feta cheese. Another one of those magical added discounts was like 25% off the Good and Gather brand lunch meat from the deli. So I got myself oven roasted turkey breast and him as oven roasted chicken. I got us this container of Smart Chicken. We are trying to up the quality of the products that we eat. So we are striving when we can to do less processed and the like more organic, more grass-fed, more pasture-raised, etc., where we can. Because overall we're eating less food, so we want to make sure we increase the quality because we're eating less food overall. And I'm supposed to make chicken tonight. This is the only flat of chicken, boneless, skinless chicken breast that they had. There were no regular chicken breasts. I was planning on buying this anyway, but not the tenderloins. I never buy the tenderloins. But I was like, well, I guess this is literally my only option. It was the last one. So that's apparently what we're having for dinner tonight. These were 10% off, so I got caramel rice cakes. Again, an easy carb, completely fat-free. 0 grams of fat and 0 grams of fat. So this is a great sweet treat. We got 3 containers of Throat Coat because Throat Coat was on sale for 15% off. Your girl likes to shop the sales, okay? If it's something we use a lot, and my husband has been drinking this every single day because it's good for his throat and it's good for his tummy. It's interesting because you'll actually see very similar ingredients to like natural GI related supplements, similar ingredients to what's in this tea. I've been drinking this tea since I was 15 years old. I love this stuff. This is my go-to, like it tastes like comfort to me and it is great for the throat, and I'm a singer obviously, so love this stuff. It was on sale, I bought 3. Another thing we've been going through like crazy pants in this house is Fairlife non-fat milk, so I bought 2 of those. I got my husband some Chobani. This is our favorite Greek yogurt now, by the way, guys. Gone are the days of 000 because this has no artificial sweeteners in it. And it's really good. It's really, really good. So we got the non-fat cherry for my husband. I have some lemon raspberry already in the refrigerator. He is avoiding citrus, so I have to eat the ones that are lemon flavored. I like lemon, by the way. I did buy some organic flour and I bought some sugar. Is this a shrinkflation thing, y'all? This is a 4-pound bag of flour. 4 pound. I thought bags of flour came in 5-pound bags. So are they literally shrinkflating an entire pound off of my bag of flour? Let me know in the comments. I'm trying to save the fun stuff for last. I got each of us 2 containers of our preferred Gilbert's chicken sausages. We always have Gilbert's chicken sausages in the house. Caprese is my favorite. My husband is eating this one because he's avoiding tomato and garlic. So I bought these. They were on sale 2 for $8. I make Trader Joe's cauliflower gnocchi bowls out of these. They're so good. So we always, always, always have those on hand. Another thing we always, always have on hand are these microwave pouches of grains. My favorite is the 90-second whole grain blend, which is brown rice, lentils, and quinoa. The entire package has 11 grams of fiber in it for 420 calories, which is amazing. And then, y'all, the power food we didn't know we needed. Lentils. These are already done. 90-second black lentils. The entire container. Now let me be clear, I don't eat the entire container at a time. I probably eat a third, maybe a fourth of the container at a time. But the entire container, just for some perspective, is 400 calories. 1 gram of fat, 35 grams of fiber. 35 grams of fiber in this bag. Like, add it to your salads, add it to your soups, add it to your rice, add it to freaking everything. Because this is a powerhouse food, my friends. Powerhouse food. And then the fun stuff. I got a couple fun stuff. Remember how I said that we have to be selective with where the full fat stuff comes from? Ben & Jerry's was on sale. And so I was like, you know what? You know what? You're gonna get yourself some tonight dough because this is my favorite Ben & Jerry's ice cream that they have. This pint, oh Lord in heaven, has 66 grams of fat in it. So, you know, I gotta eat it in moderation, little bit by little bit. But on the contrary, we already have this, which this is very much worth mentioning. This is from Target, Good and Gather brand, Favorite Day chocolate chip cookie dough frozen yogurt. So for the 2/3 of a cup serving, so compare it to this, because this is also 2/3 of a cup serving, okay? 22 grams of fat and 410 calories versus 5 grams of fat and 180 calories. So you can have your cake and eat it too. Some days I have this, some days I have this, maybe some days I add a little bit of this to this. It just depends, but I bought that because it sounded good and I'm in control of myself around food like this now. So I naturally end up, when I sit down and eat right out of the container, I naturally make this about 4 servings, and the container is only is supposed to be 3 servings. So, but like, serving size are relative anyway, but like I'll sit down and I'll just eat till I'm satisfied, and it's usually about 1/4 of the container. I did buy myself something special, Ghirardelli sea salt caramel sauce, because it sounded really good and it's a low fat sauce. So why the heck not a little bit of drizzle over either of the ice creams. I actually purchased it with the intent of using it over this, and then I saw the Ben & Jerry's sale. And then the last thing I bought, because these were also on sale, which is completely the opposite, right? Although it's 7 grams of fat. So the serving size is 2 bars, but it's 7 grams of fat in 1 bar. But there's a little bit of protein in this. It's Greek yogurt. I love the Yasso products as a whole. They do not have any artificial sweeteners in them, which makes me very happy. So I bought these too. So I am set on ice cream for quite some time now because I only eat ice cream every once in a while. Anyway, that was my Target haul. Mostly low-fat, whole food things and a couple of fun things because you gotta have a little bit of fun. Snack earlier, I am not all that hungry for lunch, so this is what I'm having. I'm going to try the Chobani layered Greek yogurt raspberry lemonade. Thought I'd try it live on camera for you. And then I have a bowl of my mixed berries that I just finished prepping with my all brand buds on top. I didn't actually measure the all brand buds, and I usually do, but I just took 2 handfuls and threw them on there. And I will be putting this into this as I go. Thought it might be fun to try this out. So let's see. It says it's a layered. Oh, look at that. So there's raspberry like layer on the bottom here. Ooh, that's good. Ooh, that's very good. I like it. So I'm gonna go and sit and have my snack.
You needed me like a cargo, you will carry me. I just hope you know my depth, even though it makes no sense. Sometimes I'm broken much of emotions. Sometimes I'm the light, don't wanna pick a fight with. Everything seems so good. I guess I can't help myself. Would you call me if I'm in the dark? I'm calling up 'cause I'm right under the stars. Would you run out on me leaving this mark? But baby, I'm the one who's breaking hearts, one who's breaking hearts. Sometimes I'm broken, too much of emotions. Sometimes I'm the light, don't wanna pick a fight with. Everything seems so good. I guess I can't help myself. Would you call me if I'm in the dark? I'm calling up 'cause I'm right under the stars. Would you run out on me leaving this mark? But baby, I'm the one who's breaking hearts, one who's breaking hearts.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. That's right, it's Tuesday. In the middle of my making of my dinner video, which I will share with you, or my clip rather, my battery died and I didn't go upstairs once yesterday. So I ran out of vlogging juice, so to speak, but that's okay because after dinner I pretty much collapsed. I did a lot yesterday and my energy level shows it. So let me tell you a little bit about what you saw yesterday. So first, let's talk about dinner. I'll save the exciting one till the end. Dinner was nut crusted chicken. Y'all, if you want a real easy dinner, like it looks complicated, it appears complicated, it tastes complicated, but it is not complicated, this is what you want to do. You can take your nut of choice, y'all. I used, if you notice in the video, there are two different color nuts. I had some leftover pistachio crusting from when I made pistachio crusted tuna. It's good on any meat, to tell you the truth. It has pistachios, oregano, garlic, salt in it, and that's it. Like super duper simple. So I had that. So my nuts, my crusted chicken was pistachio crusted, and then the other one was my husband's almond crusted. Y'all, all you do is you take your bullet blender or food processor or whatever the heck you have. I use a bullet blender, the same thing I use to make my smoothies. You pour the nuts in there. I don't measure. You just pour the nuts in there. Pour your seasonings in there, whatever the spirit moves you to do in terms of seasonings, and you pulse it. You chop it up until it's whatever consistency you want. You dip your chicken breast in some egg, and then you dip it in the nut mixture, and boom, you've got almond crusted, pistachio crusted, pecan crusted, whatever your heart desires, crusted chicken, fish, whatever. So good. And it tastes so much more expensive than it really is, and so much fancier than it really is. And so I cooked my chicken in the traditional way, which was just I sear it on one side in the grill pan for about 5 minutes, and then I flip it over and then I pop it into a 400-degree oven for 10 minutes or until the chicken is at temp. It's always juicy, it's always delicious, and the nut crusting just delicious. And then can we talk about my vegetables, because I figured it out. Both of the vegetables that I've made were sweet potatoes and Brussels sprouts. Both were from the frozen section of Target. Good and Gather brand, frozen roasted sweet potatoes and frozen Brussels sprouts. I popped both bags in the microwave for 5 minutes together. So they weren't fully cooked, but they were starting to cook. The potatoes were almost warmed all the way through. The Brussels sprouts were not. I opened the Brussels sprouts and then I take the whole Brussels sprouts and cut them in half. I did nothing else to the potatoes. I threw both of them in the air fryer at 390 degrees for about 15 minutes. And I stirred about every 5 minutes just to make sure things were air frying evenly. Spray a little bit of avocado oil on there. Y'all, The vegetables were perfect. They were cooked through. They were crispy, but not too crispy, but enough to satisfy my desire for like roasted vegetables. So good. And then we pulled them out and we can season them however we wanted. My husband used less seasoning than I did, and it was a great dinner. My husband actually said, "That was a really great dinner, babe. Thank you." And it was so simple. It was so simple and so good. Highly, highly recommend both the air fryer frozen vegetable technique and the crusted chicken technique or pork or whatever. But now, you watched me make blueberry muffin cookies. They are from the blog Broma Bakery, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about her before. I have made multiple recipes by Broma Bakery. Every single one of them is flawless. Absolutely flawless. The woman, I think her name is Sarah, makes me look like a freaking goddess in the kitchen because her recipes are so stinking good. The crinkle funfetti cookies I have made multiple times because my small group loves them. Gets so excited about them. I brought a whole big double batch to Easter and I didn't bring any home because people kept taking them and hoarding them and wanting to bring them home, which was fine. That's why they were there. People love them. Flawless recipe. Another member of our small group made her red velvet crinkle cookies, which is what ultimately inspired me to make the funfetti ones. Also a flawless recipe. Her brownie cookies, flawless recipe. And like so much so, I have so much faith in this blog and this woman that I pre-ordered her cookbook that doesn't launch until October. It's called Sweet Tooth. I'll have it linked here down below in case you want one because it's on pre-order. And it's new recipes for the most part, I guess. There are some recipes that are repeats, but most of them are new, not on the blog recipes. And I was like, shoot, this girl knows what she's doing. I have to have that cookbook because apparently I'm just baking my way through her blog. And Brianna Bakes Broma, new series coming soon. I don't know. Comment down below if you'd like to see that. Anyway, she recently, like a month or so ago maybe, released a recipe for blueberry muffin cookies. If there's one thing about my husband, it is that like his favorite desserts ever are brownies and cookies and cream, pretty much anything. But the blueberry muffin, blueberry flavored anything, but especially the blueberry muffin holds a special place in his heart. Y'all, I made these. I didn't tell him I was making them. He noticed I had set aside some blueberries when I was produce prepping, and he was hoping that I was going to do something with them, but he didn't know what I was going to do with them. So I'm baking away. He's upstairs working, blah, blah, blah. And then when he smelled what I was cooking, he calls down, he goes, "Are you making something?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "What are you making?" I go, "Cookies." He goes, "What kind of cookies?" And I go, "Blueberry muffin cookies." When I tell you, you know how like when a dog hears food fall on the floor and then boom, the dog appears like 2 seconds later? That was my husband. I literally turned around and he was there with his hands leaning on the thing in our kitchen with this very excited look on his face because he loves blueberry muffins. And like he hadn't even tried the cookies yet. He hadn't even tried them. And he looked at me and he goes, "So what can I do for you tonight?" Because that's how excited he was about the freaking cookies. And then he tried one. And I think he ate 2 of them yesterday. And he literally was like, "I think this is one of the nicest things you've ever done for me." Because he was just so excited. And he knew that I prioritized that recipe because I knew he liked blueberry muffins. I was excited to try them too. Don't get me wrong. I think they're freaking fabulous. 10 out of 10, would recommend. Again, Broma Bakery has not failed me so far. But his response to, he's like, "These are so good. These are so good. I don't need a Starbucks blueberry muffin ever again." Like, praise after praise after praise after praise for the blueberry muffin cookie. There's a streusel topping on these. There's blueberries and blueberry jam. Y'all, they're flawless. They're delicious. And here's the thing. Here's the thing you need to know before I let you go and go about my day. The Broma Bakery recipes all yield 12 cookies because apparently she makes them large. I use the small OXO, whatever you want to call it, cookie scoop. I'll link it down below. I have multiple sizes, but I always use the small one, and it literally doubles the size of the recipe. So I got 26 cookies instead of 12, which means, my friends, that even if you are watching what you're eating, tracking what you're eating, whatever it is you're doing, the cookies are still generously sized for a homemade cookie. And you can get a homemade cookie for somewhere around between 130 and 175 calories. Like, you can still have homemade delicious cookies. You don't need them to be big honking cookies every time. I have always, with all of her recipe, used the small cookie scoop that I own, doubled my yield of cookies. They last longer, they're shareable, it's less of a caloric and fat punch all at once, because as I mentioned, we're watching the fat content, and I cooked with butter and everything. These were all made with butter, so like they're full fat cookies, but like it's one little cookie that is so satisfying. It's just what you need. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So that's what you watched me cook, the chicken and the vegetables, and then the blueberry muffin cookies. I will link the recipe down below for you. It is not sponsored. I am just singing the praises of Roma Bakery from the bottom of my heart. I love it. So there's that. In other news, I slept for utter crap last night. Utter and complete junk. So I am tired. And then this morning, I had to get up and go to my MRI, which is my first ever MRI. What an experience that was. Thankfully, I have confirmed I am in fact not claustrophobic, which is good news. They put me in the tube and it was fine. I had no problems with that. But here's an interesting thing. So the MRI is like the big imaging tube like you see in Grey's Anatomy and whatnot, right? They always send them in for the MRI and you put them in the tube. They don't tell you that it's ideal for your arms to be able to straighten to go in that little tube. I fit fine in the tube, but the fact that like the camera had to be around my abdomen and I couldn't straighten my arms in the right way meant that like the way that I was being pushed on just a little bit to like get into the tube was pushing on my arms in a way that's like encouraging them to be a little bit straighter for the 25 minutes I was in the tube. And so much so that like when I came out and the pressure was released, I was like, oh, like there was a significant pain in my elbows of my arms, and as if there's elbows on any other part of your body, whatever. Thankfully the pain is gone. It was temporary. It was gone in a couple minutes, but I was like, oh dang, did I just hurt myself by doing this? But no, it was fine. And from what I understand about the results that I just saw, everything should be fine. So praise God for that. We thought so after my liver enzymes came down, but you know, just to be on the safe side. But it was quite an experience, and I was NPO, which means nothing by mouth, water included, for 3 hours before my appointment. Well, my appointment was at 8 o'clock, so of course it was 5 a.m. was my cutoff. So conveniently, of all of the times that I couldn't sleep last night, I got out of bed twice. One was at like 11:30 because apparently the full moon was like blasting in our window and it was too much light for my eyes. I had to get up and go out to the other room and close the window that faced into our room because the moon was shining in. Y'all, I'm thinking I might need to get a sleep mask that works with my CPAP machine so I can just block out all of the light. And the second time I got up, I had to pee, no problem. And I was like, oh, it's 4:20. So I was like, I'm not even gonna argue with this. I got out of bed, grabbed my water bottle, refilled my water bottle, and I'm sitting there at 4:20 in the morning, like drinking half of my 40-ounce water bottle because I knew in another hour I would be NPO and it was my last opportunity to get water. So A+ for my hydration efforts for today. And then after my MRI, so that was a whole experience. I had to drive through morning traffic, which I'm not used to around here, to go like 25 minutes away. But I treated myself. I treated myself to a lovely breakfast sandwich at a little place that a friend of ours in small group recommended because it's near her house. I would have called her if I knew she wasn't working today, but she's worked from home, but she was still working. So I wasn't going to call and be like, hey, I'm 2 minutes away. Can I come over? But I did look up where this bakery was in conjunction to where I am or was. 2 minutes down the road. So I was like, guess today's the day I try this bakery called Honey and Rye Bakehouse. And so I drove down there and got myself a breakfast sandwich. And not just a breakfast sandwich. It was a biscuit-based breakfast sandwich. Cheddar and chive biscuit. There's one thing to know about me, it's that biscuits is one of my favorite things. I love biscuits. I will always order the thing with a biscuit. I love biscuits. Love them. So I was elated to discover that this was a cheddar and chive biscuit sandwich with ham and cheese and egg. Oh, it was $13. So not something I'm going to go get very often, but it was very good. And they heated it up and it was Lovely little place, little local place. So I treated myself to that. And as I was driving home and eating my sandwich and drinking my water, because I brought my water with me for when I was done and could drink again, I was sitting there going, man, isn't it a cool thing that I can just treat myself and then go about my day? I don't have to work it into a plan. I don't have to modify anything with crazy numbers or anything like that. I can just look at it and go, okay, so I ate this breakfast sandwich. Biscuits have butter in them, quite a bit of butter actually, I believe. So in my mind, all I have to do for my health goal, not weight loss goal, but health goal of I need to eat less fat. I ate some heavy fat today. Noted. So maybe later when I'm itching for a little bit of a snack, I reach for a bowl of berries like I had yesterday instead of some chocolate covered nuts or something like that that has more fat in it. I can redistribute the fat that I have the rest of the day. Maybe I don't need anything else with butter in it today except maybe one of those cookies, but instead I use some spray butter if I need a little bit of butter tasting something. You get what I'm saying? There's this freedom that I have just continue to be amazed by with this whole not tracking thing, but still actively being in pursuit of health and health goals, and how I can just, I'm flashing back to a day where I went and I did something. I think it was a blood draw back when I was working with my macro coach, and I treated myself because I deserve it. And I posted on Instagram that I deserve this. And it was a 0-calorie iced coffee. And what ensued later was a day of debauchery, for lack of a better term. I felt completely out of control. I overate a bunch of things, and it all stemmed from me feeling like I deserved a 0-calorie iced coffee. And I messaged my coach about it later, and she goes, I totally saw that coming when, by the way, you were talking about how you deserved this coffee and the attitude you had behind it. And what's interesting, why am I bringing this up? Because my feelings of the sandwich, same situation, many more calories in the sandwich, but a completely different emotional output for it. I didn't go to the thing and get the sandwich because I deserved the sandwich. I went simply because I wanted it and I'm allowed to have it. And even though I wanted it and was allowed to have the iced coffee too, the mindset behind it was very, very different. Being in a mindset of I deserve this and from like an attitude of like sass and something can cause rebellion at least in my history. Whereas just being like, you know what? I would like to try this place. I've heard it's pretty good. I'm conveniently located. And yeah, I haven't had breakfast yet this morning. Perfect opportunity to go and get breakfast. And then I ate it and I can just move on. I don't feel entitled to anything else today. I don't feel entitled to be like, well, I deserved that. And so I deserve this, that, and the other thing and blah, blah. I don't feel any of that. I feel perfectly in control of my choices, perfectly in control of like, oh, I've got an overabundance of fruit downstairs. We're going to be focusing on fruit today because healthy, fat-free, all of that good thing, all of the good things, with no qualms whatsoever. Coming from this higher in calorie, and I'm just using that as like a reference point, right? Higher in calorie breakfast sandwich as opposed to this literally 0-calorie coffee, maybe 2-calorie coffee. And it's just the craziest thing when you think about it. So it's a good day. My energy is terrible, but I'm going to go downstairs and work out. I just started reading a new book today called The Joy of Movement, and even the introduction made me go, I gotta get downstairs and work out. Why? Because movement is exciting. So I'm really excited to engage with that book and see what the book teaches me. But other than that, there's nothing else going on except a Panthers playoff game tonight. And tomorrow it's back to work. So because this is a low energy day, I'm not going to bring you around with me because I can't guarantee that anything exciting is going to happen. So here is where I leave you. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below with your favorite breakfast food, because one of mine is biscuits. And so I'm dying to know what is your version of a biscuit? I would love to know. Thank you for watching. Take care. I'll see you later.